Yo, how do you banish high rates on your car insurance?
You switch to Geico during Geico-ween. October is their favorite time of year, and the folks over at Geico have been working even harder to cast out high rates and craft just the right policy for you and your family.
Switching to Geico isn't so scary.
Especially when they could brew you up some spellbinding savings just for you.
So get a quote today at geico.com.
And see just how much you could save. No eye of Newt needed.
Happy Geico-ween, everyone!
The worst thing that could have imagined happened to me today, Jake.
Why are you pouring hand sanitizer on your phone?
Because I've already hand sanitized my phone 3 times, but I was in the bathroom. I'm sitting there, just trying to get all my nerves out before the podcast. And I dropped my phone face first on the floor. Like, that's where piss particles bounce off the toilet. You know what I'm talking about, that spot?
Yeah, but
face down.
Why don't you just wash it in the sink? Oh my god.
I did not think about washing it, but I think hand sanitizer will do the trick. My question to you today, Jake, is do you have daddy issues?
I mean, I kind of don't have a dad.
I guess that's our issue then, right? I guess it kind of counts as daddy issue. Our guest, on the other hand, has built her whole brand around the title of Daddy Issues. Let me introduce to you today our guest with over 4 million followers on her meme account and over 600,000 on her personal, Violet Benson.
Hi.
Welcome.
What's up?
It's an honor to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I guess just we'll hop into it. What's this daddy issues? Do you have daddy issues? If you do, maybe we all relate.
Everyone always asks me that. Yeah, I definitely grew up with daddy issues. I would say, in my opinion, I don't have daddy issues anymore, but I feel like it's all relative and your opinions. In my opinion, my relationship now with my father is so much better. But I've talked about it before, I compare probably to regular people because my dad and I communicate usually through emails. Okay. I think that's a great relationship because we're communicating, but for other people, they're like, huh?
Yeah.
Why don't you just call him or something?
How we communicate with ours is through sign language. Yeah, we're not nowhere near each other to see what we're saying, so we just don't talk at all.
Yeah.
Telepathically.
Yeah, exactly, except no one's receiving on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, this Father's Day, we have a great relationship, but this Father's Day, my dad forgot it was Father's Day. And I tried to call him the whole day. I tried to make plans with him for 2 weeks, and he wasn't responding to me about the plans. He was just sending me annoying things about politics and stuff. And then my dad forgot it was Father's Day, so he took himself sailing or something.
What a legend!
And he forgot his phone at home, so I was calling him the whole day, and I was like, okay, whatever. I guess we don't have plans. And then the next day, he emailed me something about politics, and I was like, Dad, I've been trying to reach you for 2 weeks, to hang out, and this is what you sent me. Is this more important than our relationship, politics? And then he just gave me this whole spiel about I'm sorry, Violetta, I can't be a better father to you. I'm really trying, blah blah. And then I was just like, it's okay.
That's so
okay,
funny.
Dad, I forgive you. Yeah, it's hilarious. I cried. It was so funny. Anyway.
Did I hear you pronounce your own name Violette?
Violetta.
So was I saying it wrong? Is your name's not Violet?
My name is Violet is what I go by, but my parents were Russian. They call me Violetta.
Ah, so you're Russian.
Yeah, I'm from Russia.
Is the stereotype
Go Soviet Union.
Is the stereotype true about vodka? Do you guys really love vodka? I hate it.
I think that stereotype is more for Russians that are goy, aka non-Jewish. I'm a Russian Jew. I'm Russian Jewish, and I think that's not the stereotype for Jewish people. We don't drink. My whole family doesn't drink. I would say I also barely drink, but I don't like to say I don't drink because I think I'm just such an extreme person and really impulsive. So I'm the kind of person I say I don't drink, which means I don't drink for fun. I drink to have a good time. So I either don't drink or I black out. I don't it's
there's no in between.
I don't like the whole I just have a glass of wine with my steak. Why? What's wrong with you? I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Let's go.
Exactly. So. I feel the same way on that situation. What's the point of just having a couple White Claws? You got to really fully send it if you're gonna have a couple, right?
Yeah, I don't really have White Claws. Usually if I go out to drink, I'll just be okay, let's just start with 4 shots and then see what happens.
Okay. So you really meant the blackout part, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. So I want to know more about did you always want to be a meme account, or did you want to do this so you could become yourself? What was it like?
Yeah, it was when I was born, I'm my purpose in life is to steal memes and post them for a living. I hope.
Hey, some people have different dreams. I'm not going to judge you.
No. Well, I used to also create a lot of my own memes. I still do. And I feel I'm known a lot for my captions, but I'm also really known now for my podcast itself, which is Too Tired to Be Crazy. But I was never planning. I didn't know you can even make a living out of being a quote unquote an influencer. I don't like that word. I prefer creator. But it was more, used to be an accountant. And in my accounting firm, I was just super depressed at my job, and not because of the actual job. I will be the best at everything I do. I'm very a go-getter, so I wanted to be a partner when I was an accountant. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way for me because the women in my team were making my life super miserable. And I have this like constant need to be liked, which explains why I'm a creator now. So I was just like trying so hard for these women to like me no matter what I did. It just wasn't good enough for them. And they always were judging me and making my life miserable and starting rumors. And it got to the point that I would just be crying in my car like every morning before I started work. But I thought that was like the American dream, that, you know, you're miserable, but you have a 9 to 5, and that's how life is. And eventually my escape was to create an Instagram account, which was a meme account. Had nothing to do with my looks because of my job. It always, for some reason, had to do with my looks. Because, you know, unfortunately, I happen to be like a really tall blonde girl with like double D's. And it's not my fault. I'm just Russian. Like, it's how they make them, you know?
I don't know. I've never been to
We should go.
That sounds nice. I want to visit.
Dude, that's how they make us. And like, it just happened to be, you know, how I am. But, so anyway, that's why I created this account, and it had nothing to do with my looks. I was completely lost. I had no idea who I was. These women managed to, and I hate admitting that because I don't like to have a victim mentality, but these women, for whatever reason, managed to really break me down to the point that I just had no idea who I was anymore. So I feel like when I created Daddy Issues, it was slowly helping me rebuild my identity. And Daddy Issues was this cool girl that I looked up to that was like, didn't care what people thought and was so out there. And she was my alter ego. So I created her as my alter ego. And I was like, I wish I could be like her. So when I was posting these memes, it's more like my followers ended up creating me. And they were slowly helping me understand who I am better. And it's so funny. Like, it was the first time that I figured out what my purpose was in life. And it was the first time that I accepted myself and felt like I fit in. And it was like also at the same time, I feel like when you finally fit in is when you finally realize how much you don't care to fit in.
Right.
That's when you fit in.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
What can like someone do to build up their confidence and not let people's words affect them?
Well, to help people with their confidence, honestly, it takes years. But like, understand that social media is not real, and like start to put away your phone. Like, that's one thing that I do now for my own like mental health. I go on Instagram to post and for work, but then I turn my phone off afterwards. And when I'm with my friends, I'm not on my phone. Like, that's what people always get surprised. Like, it's really important for me to differentiate the two worlds. And this is one advice that I've given to girls before, and it's going to come a little abrasive, but you got to want to f*** yourself before you can expect other people to want to f*** you. And like, so you gotta like start to love yourself, and whatever flaws you see on yourself, you have to like accept them. Like, for example, I have really, really, really ugly toes. Like, they're just like, they just hate each other. They all go in different directions. Like, they unfollowed each other on Instagram like years ago, and they still haven't spoken
Let
to
me
each
see
other.
these toes. I need to see them now.
Maybe later. They're just fucking ugly, you know? And that's okay. And what I started doing, I started making jokes about them. Because if I can get ahead of the jokes and make fun of myself, then no one else can make fun of me. That's it. Like, I put out there exactly what I was insecure about. And I know the toes, it sounds silly because, like, I can wear shoes or whatever. But, like, just like every other girl, I have a million insecurities every single day. Like, I don't wake up every day thinking I'm beautiful, I'm hot shit. But I fake it and I tell myself that I'm amazing. And then eventually you kind of start to believe it. And everyone around you believes it too.
So it's almost like bringing in, it's almost like manifesting you want a better life for yourself and like you want more confidence, and that's ultimately what it is, right? It's just fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Literally. I mean, here's a great example. I just recently went to Utah for a trip with a few of my friends. We all got tested before we went, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't know if people, I feel like I once says that.
You got to.
Now I feel like I'm going to get canceled.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Are we taking that joke? I'm going to get canceled for that. But anyway, I went with a few friends. It was like my first trip of the year, of like my first time also even like leaving the house. And I kid you not, every girl on the trip was skinnier than me. And I feel like, I don't know if anyone else realized that. I know I realized that because I'm a girl and we were in bathing suits the whole time because it's like over 100 degrees. Every single girl was skinnier than me, and some of them were also shorter than me. So they just look so much smaller than me. And I had to accept that. And I had to tell myself that I'm amazing regardless. And all the guys on the trip still were trying to get with me. And so I kind of was like surprised, but I knew it had to do with my confidence. Because even though I felt insecure on the inside for a second, that had to be around these like beautiful skinny girls, I was just like, I kept pretending to be confident. and all these men looked at me like I was like the most beautiful thing there, which also tells you that men will anything. So really, like,
that is true.
you
Well,
should,
I mean, I don't know about anything, but look, I think this goes back to what my mom used to say, and that's like,
men will anything.
No, my mom never said that. She's a really great woman. She would say like that you are your own worst enemy. You know what I mean? Like you think the worst about yourself, but no one actually ever thinks about that. Cause like I've watched this girl on Snapchat before or something. She posted a story and she made like a comment in the writing and was just like, oh, my laugh's so weird. But no one else, cause I didn't notice it. No one else probably even notices that, but she's just so like thinks about it herself.
Yeah.
Like that's just, it's crazy to me because it's just like the world we live in, you know, people just, you are your own worst enemy. You just have to be careful what you say about yourself because it ultimately comes true, whether you say it's good or bad.
Exactly. Like we're all so self-revolved. We don't realize that like no one else is thinking about us as much as we think about us.
Yeah, no one cares.
No
as
one
much
cares.
As we do. Exactly.
But yet we still try to impress those people that we think care and stuff, you know, trying to buy these nice things and impress people, and it doesn't even matter. Impress yourself. That's the main thing.
I agree. Yeah.
Wow, this took a turn to the best. You know, that was inspirational. Be yourself and achieve your dreams. Really focus on happiness. So tell me, like, what have you been doing during this COVID? Like, do you feel like it's hurt your business or has it helped your business?
Money wise, I feel like it's definitely, I'm not gonna lie, it affected me in a way because I normally work with really, really big brands, and all the big brands like movies and things like that I normally work with, that we have big projects, stopped.
Right.
So I would say like 80% of the normal brands that I work with, I didn't work with this year because of COVID, because a lot of the big companies stopped hiring a lot of people because they were trying to figure out their budgets, and I completely understand. So I would say in a way, money-wise, it affected me at first, but maybe then I just stopped looking to see how much money I'm making. So mentally, I was like in a better place.
Right.
Because, you know, I still have a mortgage to pay and all that stuff. But it definitely affected me to watch like how it affected my parents. That was really hard for me because we're immigrants, and like my whole goal in life is to take care of my parents. So like it was like the first time that suddenly I'm seeing it like affecting my parents, and then me feeling guilty that I can't help them right now because I only have to help myself. Like that was really hard for me like to deal with, for sure. But I'm just staying hopeful. And then COVID mentally definitely affected me in a way. The first, I feel like I took a hit for the worse, like especially if anyone, a lot of people, you know, battle with depression, anxiety, or also thinking they're depressed and things like that, because depression has a lot of different categories. I don't think I sunk into depression, but I think I started to feel depressed, which is two different things, and that's really important to be able to know the differences, because if you're feeling depressed, it's easier to get out of it, to snap out of it. But I feel like COVID has randomly also brought the best in me, because I had no choice but to sit at home with my thoughts and to really like get to know myself and to get to know things I don't like about myself and to see like my toxic behaviors and like all these things. So I really had no choice but to like work on myself. So if anyone comes out of COVID and they didn't take this opportunity to work on themselves, like I feel bad for them, because this, I think a lot of people are going to come out of it like better people.
Well, 100%. I remember saying in the beginning of COVID, like, if I don't learn something new during this time, like, I really just wasted my life, basically. Because, like, we have like a year of free time, finally, that we all beg for. We always want more time, more time. Now we have it. And now how are you using it? You know, way too much time. But like, I picked up the guitar. I'm starting to learn songs. So I feel like that's one thing I could bring out of this is I learned the guitar, you know?
Yeah, but it's going to be really weird for me because I'm a very, like, is it the word hermit? Or
like a homebody.
I'm very homebody. So I think it's going to be weird for me to adjust to going back to regular life where I actually have to be leaving my house all the time.
100%. Because I hate going out, like, clubs and all that kind of stuff. I'd rather stay home. So this is like so awesome for me because I don't have like Brennan's being like, yo, let's go out tonight. I'm just like chilling.
Right.
No, me too. So now it's gonna feel weird for me because even when I went to Utah with my friends, I would like get the party started and then I would just disappear and I would be like, where did Violet go? And it's like I'm just in the room by myself, just sitting staring at the wall because it's just a habit now. Like I don't know, I can't be around people for too long. I don't understand what to do.
Yeah, I don't know if like when this is all over, is it going to be like crazy amounts of people going out because they haven't been able to, or is it everyone just going to be so used to being at home that no one's out?
I definitely think it's going to take forever before we go back to normal.
Right.
But I think even when things finally open up, it'll start being first it'll be always small groups. Like I think it's going to take a while to adjust to going back to like a huge crowd.
Definitely.
So what's the weirdest thing that's happened to you during COVID? Like you first, Brennan.
Okay, well, actually, have you had to deal with like with crazy people? Like I feel like everyone's on edge and so wants to just fight right away. Like a couple nights ago, I was walking my dog, and this guy, like he's motioned to me to like go past him. He didn't have a mask on. I didn't have a mask on. It's 10 o'clock at night. You know, I thought it was just gonna be really quick. Walk my dog, let him pee. Anyways, this guy's motioning me to go past him, and I'm like, no, like you go past. Like I don't know, this seems sus. I didn't like name the podcast. This seems sus for real. I didn't want to pass him, so I motioned for him to go past me, and then he walks past me like, yo, you don't own the fucking road or anything, bro. And I'm like, whoa, like, calm down, man. Like, this is not so serious. Like, I'm way on the edge of the sidewalk. Like, you have more than enough room to walk is what I said. And he was just like, no, you, man, and starts screaming. And I was just like, yo, calm down. At this point, like, I'm kind of like comical about it because he was getting crazy. And I was like, yo, you got to work on your issues, man. It's not my fault you got a dog that can't walk by other dogs. Like, I was like kind of, you know, pissing him off a little bit more. But every time I would say something, he would scream at the top of his lungs. I like just going, move, move. And I was like, oh my God, like I need to stop. I'm usually someone likes to provoke people and piss them off more. But I was like, I need to not, because this guy might turn around and stab me in the jugular. So I relaxed on that. But that was one person, that was just last week, a couple nights ago, that I had to deal with this. Like, people are crazy right now. So just,
what about you?
Me, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just like mess with you or like, I don't know. I can't think of like one moment right now.
I've had also like angry people that are driving,
That's
constantly
true.
cutting me off, and if cause I have a fast car, so I like to kind of go around them again, but then they get real pissed. Their headlights are in my back of my car, and I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah, I was at Home Depot with my mom, and we someone cut us, and they were being very rude about it. So my mom like asked the guy that's checking you out. She asked the same question that I asked you. Has anything weird happened? And he was saying that like people take their mask off and like spit on the money before they give it to the guy.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that stuff happening at Home Depot. I don't know what Home Depot's like. I feel like the employees there. I've seen some.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So, I mean, I just know it's like be extra careful during times like this. Has anything happened to you?
Well, I don't really leave my house, like in general. Like, I'm not lying when I say like Utah was one of the first times I actually left my house. The few times that I've left my house to the grocery store, the problem is I am very confrontational, even though I come off so nice. Some people can tell I'm really confrontational. So I think I remember like at a stop sign when I was going down the road to the grocery store, this guy got like really upset, like a guy with a really big truck. He thought it was his turn to go through the stop sign, and I thought it was my turn. So like I still was going, and then he was just put on the honk thing and was flicking me off to go on it. So I just stopped my car. Yeah. And I was just looking at him going towards my car because I'm so crazy sometimes that I'm just like, oh, you're going to hit me? Hit my car. I don't give a f***. It's a rental. I mean, it's a lease. Which I can see how that can be overly crazy of my end because like, what's wrong with me? I just don't think I have that like that thing in my brain that like has that fear factor.
Right.
So I'm overly like, all right, you want to go? Let's go. I don't care.
Same thing. I'm the same way. And I feel like that's what's like when my mom, going back to what my mom said, like, you know, you are your worst enemy. Like, I feel like that in a way is my worst like factor about myself because you don't know the guy's intentions. He can get out of the car and stab you or
grab the hammer and beat you. Yeah.
But I would say that my actual experiences of people being mean is probably on the internet, but I do try to understand where they're coming from. And also my friends who sometimes get offended by mean comments, I always am like, or when people have sent mean things to me, I actually try to understand. Sometimes I respond and I'll try to understand where they're coming from. I'll just be like, what's going on with you? Like, what are you going through right now?
Right.
Because, and usually they're like, oh my God, I didn't think you would answer. Like, I'm so sorry for telling you to go kill yourself.
Yeah.
And I didn't get my Starbucks this morning, blah, blah, or like whatever they're going through, you know? So I just feel like people are angrier than usual on the internet, and that's a little scary.
Oh, yeah. I feel like people say things just to get your reaction, though.
Yeah.
Like, they'll say the most terrible things just so you can respond to them. They're like, oh my God, hi.
And I hate when you respond, then you respond, they're like, wow, the fact that you actually took the time to respond just shows how much you don't, like, you have nothing going on, blah, blah.
Exactly.
And you're like, bitch, it's my job to be on the internet. Like, this is actually all I do this is what I do for a living. Of course I'm on the internet seeing your comment. Like, it's my job.
And the worst part about it, too, is, like, someone will say a mean thing, but then there's the hundreds of people that are saying nice things, and you don't reply to those people because that one mean comment did subconsciously affect you. Like, mean comments do hurt people no matter how many followers you have. Like, they do eventually get down to your feelings and they hurt.
I feel like there are some celebrities that have me blocked and I don't even know why on my personal Instagram. Like, there is that guy from Riverdale, the Jughead.
Oh,
I'm blocked and I don't know why. Cole Sprouse.
Oh, Cole Sprouse?
Yeah. He blocked me. And I don't know why I'm blocked on my personal too. I have no idea. And also Emily Ratatouille.
No
What's
way.
her name?
Emrata. I just know her as
Emrata has me blocked. And I have no idea why. And we met before. I met her before.
Wow.
So I don't know what I'm doing. effects on
Exactly. I mean, people just take things different ways, I guess. But hey, at least they know who you are because they blocked you.
No, because I block people all the time, and like I don't think I even realize who I'm blocking.
You're right, but you see their comment. Like like they actually saw your comment or something you did. You had to have done something, right?
Breathing.
Maybe they just didn't like your content. Yeah.
It's October.
And that means it's Geico-ween.
Don't let your savings disappear.
And speaking of Geico-ween, we've got some of our own paranormal scary stories to share, and our friends at Geico have sponsored this special Geico-ween segment for October.
So, Brennan, do you remember when we went to that clown motel?
Oh, do I remember. Okay, guys, let's break this down because this was probably hands down the scariest place we went to. So we had to drive like 4 hours into the desert.
Yeah. From Las Vegas.
From Las Vegas. So it was like in the middle of the desert where Area 51 basically was.
Yeah, it was a city called like Topano? Topano?
Topana.
I don't know.
Topana. Basically, this place was like an old mining village, and there was a massive fire back in the day that killed most of the village. And turns out, we didn't know this until we got there, but we get to this clown motel, and basically it's a whole motel that is made from people who loved clowns.
Yeah, dedicated to
Literally,
clowns. The
to clowns.
sign, the rooms.
Big sign of a clown right when you walk in, and then when you get into the lobby, it's straight clowns everywhere. It's actually terrifying.
Supposedly they have the biggest collection of clowns, like in
the
one
world.
room. Yeah, in like a room.
They have the Guinness World Record for it, so it's pretty insane. And it turns out the people who actually created this are buried right next door at Tonopah's oldest cemetery. So this clown motel is literally neighbors to an old cemetery, which is freaky as hell.
You can literally jump from your room and you'll probably land in the cemetery.
In a cemetery.
It's not cool.
Basically, we get into this place, and as soon as we walk into the lobby, one of the clowns starts going off and talking. And the guy was like, I didn't even know that these things talk. And we're like, okay, this is already not a good sign.
Yeah, not at all.
These clowns are moving. So basically, we get our room. Turns out we have the scariest room. And these places, each of the room are decorated with clown pictures, clown little ornaments, the whole shebang, right? Anyways, later that night, things are getting weird. We're hearing noises from like the cemetery when we went in there at nighttime. We shouldn't have done that. We're hearing noises. Anyways, we're back in our room. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember what I'm about to lead into?
Oh, of course. How could I forget?
It's literally like the middle of the night, and we hear like some kind of noise coming from outside, right?
We were sleeping.
We're sleeping, and we woke up and grabbed the camera because that's our first thing we need to do when we're making a YouTube video. And we film, we open the window, and there's someone or something. To this day, I don't exactly know if it was like a joke someone was playing on us or if something really paranormal was happening there, but there was a figure, and it looked to me like a clown figure, standing outside of that window. So I don't know what my true feelings and thoughts are about that because my heart dropped and sank at that moment, and I still can't decide whether or not it was the guy who was in the front, trying to do all this weird stuff to try to make us feel like scared.
They could have been messing with us, but I don't know. It seemed too real. And if it wasn't 4 hours away from Las Vegas, I would have drove home that same night.
Yeah, and the thing was there was nothing else in the area. Like, there was no other hotels. It was like, we've met this guy who was a Germany motorcycle who was riding across the United States, and he was like, this is the only place here. That's why he was staying there. This place, man, was so scary. We got into the cemetery. Our microphone starts making these like weird tweaking noises.
Flashlights were not working.
Started flashing, like weird things, just to show like this place was not somewhere to mess with. I definitely feel like it was probably one of the most paranormal spots that we went to.
And I will never go back.
Yeah, I don't think I would go back unless, maybe Geico sends us out there and wants us to do it.
Yeah, well, let's find out.
You guys know what's really scary? Seeing just how much you could have been saving on car insurance by switching to Geico. It's almost as scary as that homemade elf costume your mom made you wear in junior high school. No, Geico can't erase the memory of tripping down the hallway in an oversized pointy shoes, but they could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Stop waking up at night in a cold sweat wondering what happened to that green onesie.
Just switch to Geico and save. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. What are you guys doing? Go to geico.com, get a quote. Listen, the name of the game of this show, though, is Share Your Scare. We got to get a little deeper. I want to know, what is your most scariest experience?
Okay, I wouldn't say these experiences are scary. I would say they're more like, quote unquote, paranormal.
Okay.
Oh.
Shit, almost knocked my mind.
Okay, so
I'm excited.
I feel like technically it's like two stories. One is really short and the second one's a little longer, and that's why I have to say the first one. But I feel like I only grew up, my grandma, in a way, raised me when I was younger, and I didn't have other grandparents, and we were really, really close, like so close. So when she passed away, I took it really hard, but basically, so I'm not gonna get into that first part, but the second part is that I sometimes feel like she secretly like is like my guardian angel and watching over me. And the first example would be when I first moved to America and I was walking home from ninth grade. I remember I was about to cross the street. And I literally, and it's green, so it's go for me. And I'm putting my foot down to cross the street. And then I heard my grandma's voice saying Violeta. So I heard that and I put my foot up and I turn around to see who just called my name. And as I put my foot up, this car just was driving literally, I think 70 or 80 miles per hour. Like,
no
like
way.
it was so strong that I felt the what is it called? The blowback or like it pushed me,
the
like
air.
I jumped from it, like it was so strong, and the car was insanely close to me. So, and then obviously there was no one there, like no one called my name, there was no one there. So I would say that's like the first example of where I feel like my grandma protects me.
Were you just I was
by myself.
By yourself? Oh,
and there was
wow.
no one called my name, but I heard someone call my name. That's why I put my foot up from the road.
Yeah.
And then literally and I didn't see any cars in that second. So he must have turned, but he was driving so fast and he would have hit me if I would have put my foot down.
That's crazy.
Oh, I 100% believe in guardian angels and signs and stuff like that. Like, I definitely think that's a way they communicate, and that's an amazing experience that you had, that you actually got to hear her voice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was crazy. So then another time in my life, I had my first car was a Passat, and it was a used Passat, and I needed to fix my transmission, but unfortunately I just didn't even know what a transmission is, so I didn't know how serious that was.
Yeah.
And it was either paying $100 a Volkswagen, because the guys there were really nice, and they would give me the price that the Volkswagen pays for, so like they didn't even overcharge me. So all I had to pay for a new transmission was $100 with them.
No
But then there's an Armenian guy that I know that said he'll do it for $50. So I was like, oh dope, I can save $50. I don't recommend it, because apparently I found out transmission is a really big deal. So probably like go for the real, for the actual like professionals. But anyway, so I went to the Armenian guy to fix my transmission, and I paid him $50 and he fixed it. And then I went on with my life. And every day when I was driving to work, I was always taking the freeway. I've never taken a canyon before, like never, only a freeway. For months now.
Yeah.
And this one day I'm driving on the freeway, and for whatever reason, I fix my ear. My hair is bothering me. Okay, and for whatever reason, there's a voice in my head and it's telling me to get off the freeway. And I've never gone off the freeway before. And I was just like, so it's like I'm literally doing the same thing every single day. So I'm just like, I guess I can take the canyon today. I mean, it'll be the first time. I'm interested to see what it's like. And I was like, no, I'll stay on the freeway. No, the voice in my head is like, you should probably take the canyon today. I was like, okay. I get off the freeway, and like within half a mile, I get on the canyon, Laurel Canyon. And as I'm going up the canyon, my car starts to go backwards. And I was like, what the f***? Sorry for cursing. I put it on stop. I brake. I try to go put on drive again. It goes backwards. So I had to like pull into somebody's house on the hill on the canyon of Laurel Canyon. So the ass of my car was still technically on the canyon. So people were honking at me. I had to kind of go around me. But basically my transmission, my car broke. And my car was going backwards. So had I stayed on the freeway just in the last 10 minutes, my car would have went backwards on the freeway. And I would have died.
Oh, like it literally like switched to reverse. It wasn't like just rolling backwards.
No, it was going backwards. Like my drive stopped working.
Shit.
So my car switched to reverse. That's how bad my transmission was. So had I stayed on the freeway in those 5 minutes, my car would have went backwards on the freeway, and I would have killed myself. But luckily, for whatever reason, that day I went on the canyon and my car started going on reverse on the canyon, and I was able to like kind of halfway park in somebody's garage on somebody's driveway, and then I called AAA and stuff.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Do you ever think about maybe that you're like a medium? Have you ever thought of that? Like, because you hear voices a lot. Like, that could be like your intuition. Like, that's your skill.
I don't know if I would say I'm a medium, but I feel like I am very intuitive. So I'm very in touch with my feelings, other people's feelings. I do think like when you're younger, and I feel like I've read this stuff before, kids tend to, that's also in movies, kids are the ones that see all the ghosts and all that. I feel like as you get older, I don't know if you don't believe in things or whatever, and it starts to go away, you stop noticing these things. So I do think like, I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm a medium, because I don't know if I fully believe in that stuff, because I don't want to then go to a medium who's going to tell me she can talk to my grandma, and I'm like, my grandma doesn't even speak English, so how are you talking to her?
Right.
Yeah.
So but the voices that you did hear, it was like, do you believe the second one was your grandma as well?
Yeah, I definitely think it's my guardian angel. I mean, for example,
was that in English?
It's just like, actually, yeah, I guess it wasn't English. It was my brain, my thoughts.
Right.
But I do think it had to do, I feel like I've been in a lot of situations that I was just like, oh shit, am I gonna die? I'm not kidding, because I'm so like, as a child, I feel like I was always putting myself in bad situations. And I feel like somehow my grandma was always watching over me, and she like took care of me to the point that now sometimes I think it almost makes me too unafraid, because I'll be in situations where I'm like, no, it's okay. I know this isn't my day to die.
Right. Hey, I mean, that like I live like that too, and I think, you know, it's
really
good, but it's bad also. It feels like it's free spirited, but at the same time, it's like you never know like the impact someone else might have on you because, you know, you decided to be bold one day. That's what I think about now. I think about like, you know, what if this person is crazy and pulls out a gun and shoots me? You know what I mean? Like, you never know before I like act crazy. But
yeah, well, I try not to have altercations with people. So
Yeah.
I would say it's more situations like that I put myself where when I was younger and my friend thought it would be a good idea to hitchhike a ride with like some guys who picked us up. And then as I'm in the car, I'm just like,
it's a bad
and
idea.
they're drinking and they're giving us some of their alcohol. And in my head, as we're in the car, I'm like, this may not turn out like well. Like, did I make a mistake doing this? Like, only as it's happening.
Yeah.
And luckily, like, everything turned out fine for me. But I don't know if I would always be that lucky if I did that more than once, you know?
Right. Well, look, like I've heard a lot of stories about like people. I mean, your girl on social media. Like, do you get a lot of like weirdo people like hitting you up? 'Cause I hear tons of stories from like girls that get some weird ass messages and stuff.
Yeah, I've got messages even before somebody telling me my address, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, well, I also have a gun license,
Yeah.
and I have a gun in my house, so I was just like, okay.
America.
Let's all go shooting sometime.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm down.
You got to be ready in case the world ends. You know.
Can I tell you the worst experience that I had the first time shooting though?
Please.
So this is where I think my guardian angel watches me. So I'm very uncoordinated, and this is really bad.
no.
They're gonna revoke my license.
Yeah, they come barging
Okay.
in. FBI.
This is before I got my gun license. This is the first time I ever went shooting, which was a few months ago. I went shooting with my friend, and then I was holding a revolver, and the revolver did not have a safety thing on it. And I don't think I still fully understood how dangerous guns are. I'm stupid, I know.
You literally had to do the test to get the gun.
No.
This is how dangerous-
This is shooting before the gun.
Oh, before you got it.
I
okay.
don't have a gun license. This is my first time shooting.
Got it,
So I'm
got it.
holding a revolver in my hand, and we are in those like little tiny areas in indoor shooting.
Yeah.
So I'm in my little area, and I'm holding the gun, and I'm like leaning on this like little area where you're about to shoot, and I'm just like leaning my arm on it, holding the gun. Not the best way, and I'm like looking back to see what my friend is doing, like because he's getting more guns or whatever. And apparently and I should have put the gun down because that's one of the rules, but I'm holding it, and accidentally my finger, I'm holding it like this, like I'm holding the revolver down, so accidentally my finger was resting and it clicked.
No
And there
way.
was still a bullet in there, and it shot. And when I accidentally shot the revolver, it barely grazed through that like little thingy that's in front of me. Like it barely grazed like that thing, to the point that, and my face was really close to it, so I felt a blowback to my face, and then it barely grazed through it for whatever reason. God was watching again, and the bullet like went through the thing in the front and went to the ground and like hit the ground, but I felt the blowback in my
Yeah.
face really strongly. And I remember I was shocked, and I started shaking because in my head I was just like, oh my god, it's another time that I could have killed myself. Oh my god. And I was like, damn, guns are no joke.
Yeah, they are not.
They're not. I remember when I went shooting one time, like I was having struggle. I mean, I was struggling trying to put the bullet in. Like it was a shotgun, and we were trying to shoot a shotgun. I couldn't get it in, and I was so nervous that I was gonna accidentally pull that trigger. Like I feel like it really, if you're not skilled with guns, like don't use them, because or don't even try to. If you just see one at your friend's house, don't touch it.
don't
That's how
touch
people
it.
die,
Yeah.
because they go off so easily, and it's just
yeah.
one button, and then it could end a lot of things.
You gotta always think of the gun as if it's loaded. And accidentally,
100%.
I didn't think mine was loaded,
Right.
but it was, and I learned the scary way. The guns are no joke. I did get my license right after that.
Well, now you knew what not to do, right? So it helped you with your tests.
No, yeah, and I studied it, but also I want to take like obviously I hopefully no one breaks into my house, because obviously I don't want to handle the gun.
What do you
but
do in that situation though? Like, are we able to shoot the person and get away with it? Like, I'm curious about that. Is
in
that-
California, the rules are basically that if somebody's on your property, you're not allowed to shoot them unless you feel like they have a weapon on them or you are scared for your life. In Texas and some other red states, it's more like someone literally goes in your backyard and you shoot them.
Oh,
You
Yeah.
can't do that.
You have to like feel like a threat.
But I'm a woman that lives alone, so I feel like I'm always in a threat. Plus,
Right.
my bullets are hollow bullets.
Hollow points.
Hollow points, which
Yeah.
means they just stay in the person. And I'm gonna get a shotgun too, but I don't recommend.
She's like, come with me if you want, but I'm ready.
But I don't recommend. Guns are no joke. I wouldn't get a gun unless I was a girl like living by myself, and
Right.
it's scary. And also I'm planning on taking classes,
Good.
self-defense classes.
Yeah, you should.
I know.
Highly recommend that. That's important, especially with handling such a deadly thing. But what did this have to do with? You said someone found out you got your address.
Oh shoot, I
And then you
forgot
tied
that's
it
where
into
I was.
this? Yeah.
Oh, also I want to say that I hit the targets every time from indoor, and when I did outdoor, I hit the targets every time.
Nice.
I have a really good eye.
Good.
So
Don't mess with her.
anyway,
There's a lot of warnings in this podcast.
so yeah, like people have sent me email address, but the thing is, my following is mostly female, so like people don't realize I do get hate every day. But it's mostly men who are mean to me, which is so funny. Yeah. When I first started Daddy Issues, I was getting dick pics all the time. So I would say like I probably have like 10,000 people blocked at this
And
point.
were you already like the face of it, or it was still anonymous at that point?
Yeah, because
Both.
You started
First, when it was anonymous,
Yeah.
they were just sending dick pics, not knowing to who. It could be like a 40-year-old man.
Right.
They didn't care.
Yeah. See,
And-
I started as a photographer on Instagram, so I would just post only girls on my Instagram, and
Oh.
I would get like, not necessarily dick pics, but I get a lot of DMs being like, "Hey, girl," like thinking I'm a girl, and I'm like, "Dude, you really?" It says Jake Taylor.
And they're all
photography.
different girls.
Yeah,
Like-
it's not like, and they literally thought I was a girl.
But Jake can be a girl's name. Or maybe it's like Taylor's her name and Jake's her last name, and she was
Yeah.
being creative.
Or it's like a Jake and a
Or
Taylor. I
Jackie.
don't
Maybe
know.
it's Jackie spelled
Yeah,
different.
exactly.
It could happen.
I see it.
So yeah, they would send me a lot of dick pics, and now it's less of that, and I would just get hate, either like hate for, a lot of times I get hate for being Jewish, or for being from, if I say I'm Israeli, like I get a lot of hate for that.
Really?
Like people call me a or they tell me to kill myself, or that they're gonna unfollow me because I said I'm Israeli, even though like I can't, it's not my fault, like I just live there.
Right.
Like
I didn't choose this
it's
life.
as if people think like, because I'm from Israel, like I then have the prime minister on speed dial, and I'm like, hey, what are we gonna do now with this everything that's happening? Like I'm not in charge of anything.
Right.
It's like people assuming if I live in America, then what? Like I have Trump on speed dial? I don't. So there's nothing I can do. So I get, sometimes it has to do with my religion, but I consider being Jewish a race for me. So it's different. But yeah, it has to do with that. Or I get men calling me a lesbian, or telling me that I'm a feminist and lesbian, which I don't get how that's offensive. I'm like, okay.
People used to call me that on Vine all the
Yeah,
time.
I used to get called
I would-
lesbian
A
all the
lesbian?
time.
Literally, I don't know why. Like people would call me that. It actually kind of started to like affect me. I was like, do I look like a lesbian? I don't know. What is a lesbian? Like, how do
A
you?
beautiful girl.
A pretty girl? Like, thank
Yeah.
you. I don't know if I should be mad or sad. Like at this point, I'm
Yeah.
happy. Thank you.
Or they call me a whore. Or like literally, I did this one podcast where we joked about masturbating, and I posted that on my Daddy Issues Instagram like a few weeks ago. And then some guys were just like, oh, like whore, like slut, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm at the point where like I'm talking about not fucking anyone. You're just like, all you have to do is just have sex with yourself. But apparently masturbating, that's like being a slut. But if I fucked you, then it's okay. Then I'm not a slut. And I feel like that's what sometimes I feel like goes backwards, because I like sometimes on my podcast I encourage women, like, don't sleep with him if you don't like his energy. Maybe get to know him first. And men get so upset at me, and they're just like, you're a fucking slut. And they're like,
Right.
I'm a slut because I'm telling girls not to have sex with a guy like you. Sorry.
They're only a slut if they don't have sex with that guy. You know, that's the only
Yeah.
time they're called a slut.
Literally, that's what it seems like.
That's
So I get that, but like I wouldn't say I get death threats as much. It's more like I said, people calling me a whore, a lesbian, a feminist, a slut.
That's so sad that you have to go through that, especially nowadays, even more probably because you're bigger and you're not bigger, but like you're more famous.
Oh
now.
my God, you're saying I'm
No, you know, people
Cancel.
take things out of context all the time. But yeah, no, that's crazy. So do you have like the same abilities that say like are not even abilities? I would say like a creator, for example, myself gets my Instagram hacked. Like I could just hit them up really quickly and get it back. Are you the same? Yeah, knock on wood. Are you the same way? Like, or do they not care about meme pages? Because I know on like Twitter they deleted all those big meme pages.
Well,
at
how
one
are you
point.
getting hacked?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying this is rhetorically speaking. If I got and I got hacked, I just hit up an Instagram person. Are you the same way? Can you just hit up an Instagram person?
Oh yeah, I have Instagram reps because I am an ex-accountant and I used to also tutor math. I'm actually really into numbers, so I know when there's a bug on Instagram before Instagram does. Well, a lot of the time, so I know when there's something wrong. So I've even been invited. I've spoken to conferences at Instagram before where they fly in from San Francisco, like from Instagram, the tech people, and I explain everything that I think is wrong with Instagram. So like I do have reps, but I feel like they still, like, one time I had a partnership with them for IGTV, and they still like blocked my engagement because there was like some text on the video, and I was like, you guys are literally paying me to post IGTV, and then you're blocking my engagement, so it makes no sense. So sometimes I don't understand that part, right?
Yeah, it's messed up. It doesn't make sense at all. Like, I think it's my idea of it is that if you stop, like, if you have to put money into your account, like if you have a business account, if you're not putting money into your like ads and stuff, you get pushed down, is what I've been hearing.
But I've never put money into any of my accounts.
But like, you're a business account, right? Like, your account's probably set up as a creator or a business account. And if you don't put money, they just see you as like an account that's like trying to be a creator, or not trying, but like is a business account, but it's not putting any money, rather than these accounts that are putting money.
Yeah. Well, so I've never put in money into my accounts, but like recently my engagement just changed, and I noticed something happened with my daddy issues. I'm like, hey guys, there's a virus on my thing, and they're like, no, there is. I'm like, there's a bug.
Virus.
Yeah, I know.
We just lose followers every day. If we post, we lose.
It's very normal right now, actually. It's very normal for people to be losing followers every day on Instagram.
Yeah, I think
like,
all those
things
TikTok
have changed.
boys are getting all our
They're following us and following them, man.
Yeah, I swear to God.
We're going to have to get them on the podcast, that's for sure.
Oh, you definitely should get the TikTok people on your podcast.
Yeah, we're going to hit them all up after this. We get the clout back. So, Miss Violeta, where can the people find you if they don't know you already?
My address is, I'm kidding. People can find me on Instagram at Violet Benson, which is my personal account, at Daddy Issues _ which is my meme account, and then my podcast, which is at Too Tired to Be Crazy. And the podcast is also on every Thursday. I have solo episodes, and then I also have episodes with guests, and they're going to actually be guests on my podcast too. We talk about everything, but the whole podcast is really about like self-love and healing and things like that. A few weeks ago, one of my favorite episodes right now is called Dumb Bitch Boot Camp, which is telling women to, like, you know, not give your body, your energy, and your time to every single man that walks by. So I think everyone should definitely listen to that.
Well, I think all the women in my life have taken that advice.
Yeah.
I don't have any, so...
I think they'll listen to my podcast.
Jeez, all right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We really do appreciate it.